So this boat review is done really just for myself and for my co-owners. We currently own a Jaguar 27, but our family is getting taller by the second it seems, and today we're looking at the Westerly Seahawk. So as cited in previous videos, we're looking for something around 33 feet long with a decent cockpit, good accommodation, and that isn't too tender. The Seahawk comes in at 5,700 kilograms displacement, the Moody was 5,000, the Discus was 6,800, and our current boat, the Jaguar, was 3,100 kilograms displacement. So she's heavier than the Moody, but lighter than the Discus. The side decks are very uncluttered, and the boat feels very easy to move around in. The centre cockpit is a key feature of this Westerly, and is big enough for a 6-foot person to lie out full length. There has been some comment on the web about the high centre cockpit and how it might create an uncomfortable motion in a seaway, but equally there's a number of comments saying that this is a myth. You be the judge. If you Google YBW Seahawk, you'll get the Yachting and Boating World Forum, and a wide range of views are expressed. Personally, I'm not too worried about it. I haven't sailed one yet, obviously, so I can't comment with any certainty, but I don't really see why it should create a seriously uncomfortable motion. In fact, it feels like a very safe cockpit, and I think the kids would be happier going to sea in this boat than they would in many others. The Seahawk comes in both a twin keel and a single fin format. The draft of the twin keeler is 3 foot 11 inches or 1.19 meters, and the draft of the single deeper keel is 4 foot 11 inches, which is 1.5 meters. Now that compares to 1.20 meters on our current Jaguar, which is a twin keel. So I was quite keen on twin keelers and did list it as one of our criteria items, but actually I just don't see how much we're using it. East Coast mud makes it difficult to go ashore, so you tend not to run her up the beach and things like that. So I'm thinking that is it worth taking the performance hit in terms of the stiffness of the boat and how well she points. I mean, that performance hit is not too significant in the Jaguar 27, and I don't think it would be too significant in a twin keeler Westerly Seahawk, but it does exist. And if we're not reaping the benefits of a twin keel boat by being able to run it ashore and things, I'm starting to lean more towards looking more seriously at a single fin. If we were worried about the high cockpit creating an uncomfortable motion at sea, which I'm not too worried, but then perhaps that's an argument in favour of going for the slightly deeper keeled single fin, which would be slightly stiffer, less tender, and in terms of draft it's only 30 centimetres more than we have with our current Jaguar. So let's have a look down below. Fantastic headroom, as you can see here. I'm 5'11", my co-owner is over 6 foot, so he'll be pleased that there is good headroom throughout the whole boat, particularly in the main cabin. So looking at this plan, you can see the starboard side has a U-shaped dinette seating area, and on the port side we have a comfortable looking sofa. Let's have a closer look at that. So I'm looking forward from the galley into the saloon. Looking at the starboard side, plenty of space here for all the kids to sit around a table and a couple of adults, and a nice sofa here, which it doesn't look like it's 6 foot, but if you take out this cushion it is long enough to use as a full-size berth, and the back cushions come off as well. The starboard dinette does convert to a double. I'm not sure whether that's standard in every boat, but it's a pretty easy mod even if it hasn't been done, so I'm confident that we could genuinely call this a 7-berth boat very easily. So heading off now to a key feature of the Seahawk, the palatial aft cabin. You can see headroom's pretty good. It's actually better in the corridor than the Moody 346. You've got a nice sofa on one side and then a really quite wide bed. Good two-person bed. Headboard can be removed if need be. Plenty of room here. Again, it's a bit bigger a bed than on the Moody. It's just a really nice space to hang out in or sleep. It's just nice. One of the things I like about Westerly's is you seem to be able to get to things. The headboard removes to get to the steering gear. There's good access to the engine as well from the aft cabin, but also from a side panel in the corridor. You can see various filters here. Couldn't see the oil filter, but I'm assuming you either get to it from the side panel or from the access hatch behind the steps. Heading forward, I'm struck by the space and the storage and the lovely wood everywhere. We need that space. We're a family of 5, getting older now, lots of debris that needs to be put away easily. Fore cabin isn't huge, but it's certainly bigger than on our Jaguar, and you can stand up inside the cabin. As you can see here, there's also storage, good light. It's not a bad cabin, and it should be good enough for even full-size adults to stretch out in. The heads area is relatively small compared to some, but how much space do you want to use for this sort of thing? You can still have a shower and brush your teeth without problem. It all looks pretty sensibly put together. Plenty of easily accessible storage here and throughout the boat. This is nice because it has been fed back to me that on the Jaguar it can get a bit frustrating to have to lift up seat cushions and ask people to move to get things out or put things away. This opening port and the fact the galley is by the hatchway is a good move. So this gives you an indication of what the asking price is for a Westerly Seahawks August 2018. So if you're not interested in racing around the cans, I think the Seahawk is a good boat. It's attractive, it's got nice side port windows, better than on the Moody 346 I think. It's a nice light airy boat inside with really good quality joinery that Westerly were excelled at. Safe decks to walk around in if the boat's leaping around a bit. Not the fastest boat in the fleet, but that's fine. Decent cockpit, good accommodation, nice lines, a safe, sturdy boat in which you could take your family on board and know they are going to be safe and actually enjoy themselves, as opposed to run out of space and get a bit tetchy. We keep our boat moored stern to in a marina, and I particularly like this access point. It'll be nice not to be leaping over the top of railings to get aboard, and the kids will really enjoy crabbing and hanging out safely, but in having different places to move around the boat is all part of the fun of sailing with a family. So just while I finish off my thoughts and summary about the Seahawk, I thought I'd show you some nice footage from the last couple of trips I had on Jaguar 27. So the Westerly Seahawk 34 was built between 1984 and 1988, 34 feet long obviously. They then upgraded it slightly to have a sugar scoop stern, and then that made it a foot longer. So it's the Westerly Seahawk 35. made from 1988 onwards that evolved into the Ocean Dream and the Ocean Quest, all with the same hull and deck configuration. So the Moody 346 was built in around 400 numbers, and the Westerly Seahawk doesn't quite reach that figure but does come close to it, and was very successful over a long period of time. I think in summary, the Moody is a slightly lighter boat, probably slightly quicker, certainly in lighter winds. The internal space is pretty good on both boats, it's hard to complain, although I think the stern cabin is slightly bigger on the Seahawk and the through corridor is slightly wider on the Seahawk. The internal joinery is probably better on the Seahawk as well. I have to say I do like the shape of the hull and the deck moulding on the Seahawk better, and the windows on the Moody I think are perhaps slightly too sort of 1980s aluminium angular. That said, it probably sails better, so there isn't that much to my mind between the two boats. I think both boats are lovely, and I do very much like the look of the Seahawk and look forward to sailing one soon. So these last pictures have shown you the kind of sailing that I like to do and hope to continue doing even with a slightly bigger boat. I also like the idea of being able to sail with my co-owners and with other members of my family as well, as I feel that a bigger boat would bring us all together and would provide opportunities to generate some really nice family memories that will stay with us for a very long time.